I'm Nicole King, and this is Marbella Now. My first guest this week usually likes to be behind the scenes, which is, as you know, the theme of Marbella Now, following those people who make things happen in our city. Well, Lorraine Powell is undeniably one of those and has been for many, many years. Not only is she a member of the Rotary, Marbella-Guadalmina, so many words, she's also part of the Art Society of Bidu, and very instrumental in so many clubs that have been going for so many years that it's really nice to see you, Lorraine, because you've got so much to say about everything. So,
very little, but I'll see what I can do.
How are you keeping? It's been ages since
really
we've actually got together.
I've been very busy with Rotary because we've had lots of events recently, post-COVID, and the big event is on the 4th of December.
Yes, you've got this, I love the theme, with the Bollywood, which is very exciting. But before we go to that, tell us a little bit about what you do in Rotary, because I think a lot of people hear the name Rotary and there's lots of different clubs, and as I was saying, we've got the Rotary Marbella-Guadalmina. One of the peculiarities or specialities is that it's an English language club.
It is.
Which is quite unique and special.
It was the first English club, English-speaking club, and now we have 5 on the coast, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Very good thing.
And the ethos of Rotary, what's that?
The
ethos. What's the whole philosophy behind it?
Well, Rotary, as you know, was started in 1905, and really started in Chicago with a group of businessmen, and whilst they were helping each other, they decided to help other people. And
How
that's
did you
really
get involved? Because I know that you're involved in lots of things, but why Rotary particularly?
I was asked by Nina Jalov, who was our godmother, and I've always done charity work, and it was very important for me to do it with a group of people. And I believe in what Rotary does and how they do it.
How long have you been on the coast?
Too long.
I don't think you think it's too long. I know you love it here. You have an amazing setup of friends.
I've been living here since '92, and I've been around a while.
Yeah. But it's nice because you understand the local communities, whether it's the Spanish community, the international community, that you've got a good...
I do, and that's why I'm able to do what I do.
You like connecting
and I can get people together.
Yeah. As I say, you're not normally the one who likes to be in front of the cameras.
I don't.
You like to organise everything, but I'm glad you come here today because obviously you're very passionate about the event that's coming up and that you want to make sure that we all know about it. So the theme is Bollywood, which is a lovely theme, very joyous.
It is. Very joyous, and it's going to be a very colourful event. We've got a lot of lovely people coming, and thanks to Bidu, who I believe you're going to be interviewing later, he's helped us enormously, and through his Indian community. And I think it's going to be the most amazing evening. And you will be there, of course.
Yes, I'm very grateful for the invitation and emceeing together with Bidu, which we'll be talking about, as Lorraine says, in just a while. Will people have to come dressed up? Can they come dressed up? Where do you get a sari? How does this work?
Well, Rani, who's helping us organize, she has a collection of clothes. If anyone's interested, they can talk to me or Rani or you. There's a huge collection for sale or for borrowing. We're going to have a mini fashion show of people wandering around, lovely ladies wandering around, showing the clothes on the night as well. We're going to have Bollywood dancers. You might even get a chance to dance, and they'd be taught how to dance. And we have a raffle, and we have the silent auction, and we have a DJ, so it's really going to be an amazing evening.
It does sound like it's going to be fun. Definitely excited to be participating. How many people can come? Where is it being held?
Right, it's being held at Tikitana. I think you know where that is.
Yes.
And it starts at 8 o'clock. If you get in touch with me, I'm organizing the reservations, and we're hoping to have about 200 people.
Well, it's a place that can hold a lot of people, and normally when Rotary does anything, it's always for a good cause.
Always.
What are the causes that we will be supporting?
Well, we are working with a Rotary club in Mumbai, Sobo. It's one of the many in Mumbai. And we started off trying to help people with the COVID problems. But I think the situation is a little better now. So it's really to do with all the people who've suffered because of it, as opposed to an emergency. And it's to do with homeless children who've lost their parents, and other things that have been going on.
And of course, such a vulnerable time of year coming up to Christmas.
Yes, exactly.
I think anyone who is struggling gets a greater sense of depression, loss, panic, knowing that it's time to extra special foods and presents when you can't necessarily even afford to get by from a day to day. So it has been a struggle for a lot of people.
And it has, and we're also dealing with some of the charities that we support locally, and it's mainly to do with children. Education, homelessness, lack of food.
Yeah. Big passion of mine, love kids. United Nationalities this year is 100% dedicated to our international children, so vulnerable all around the world. So we've got the event coming up in Tikitano. It's the 4th of December. It's been really nice actually to see that when I've posted and shared the poster, that people have contacted me, oh, well, can I get a table? So you pass them along, and can I get tickets? Well, actually pass them to Pamela, and she said she's going to pass them to you.
Okay.
So hard to coordinate everything. But obviously for a good cause, going to be a lot of fun, and sari is available. So the fashion show is also going to be themed to...
It's going to be with Bollywood clothes.
With Bollywood clothes. I have to say that when I went to see, was it the Cuidado de la Alegría, there was a movie, it was about India, and it upset me so much to see it. But then when the next movie came out, that the guy organised the Olympics in England, I can't think of anyone's names at the moment, but it was so nice to see the joyous side and such a great industry as Bollywood. Lorraine, thank you so much for coming in front of the cameras. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Just to say, I really hope we have lots of people supporting the event and the cause, and we look forward to seeing you all on the 4th.
I look forward to it too. Lorraine, thank you very much. Joining me now is the gentleman that I was just talking about with Lorraine Powell before the break. His name is Bidu, and basically that's all I know about him. So welcome to the program, Bidu.
Good to be on the show, Nicole.
It's funny because I say in Marbella, you never know who you're going to be sitting next to. It's funny how different people come into our lives.
True.
And the other day, you're chatting with Pamela about the Rotary Club Marbella-Guadalmina and talking about our United Nationalities in Marbella event. Well, would you feel like getting involved with this? Like, okay. And then suddenly I see on the poster, a friend tells me my name's there and we're emceeing the Bollywood event together.
We've both been roped in. I think partly because we work cheap.
Yeah, it's like free is about as cheap as they come, but bringing goodwill. So, first of all, so really nice to meet you.
And you too.
Marbella is such a diverse community, and we think we know everyone and we don't know anyone. Well, there's so many worlds out here.
Firstly, Marbella is a wonderful, wonderful town, and I've been coming for nearly 45 years. In fact, when I first came, the port wasn't there. So it's grown, but it's beautiful. It's got great infrastructure. Wonderful to fly in from London or wherever, you know. So we love it, and of course the weather is good as well.
Yeah, it's very inspiring.
Yeah, and because I come from a land of two seasons, rain and more rain. Yeah, so it's great to be here.
It definitely is. I think we all agree on that one. From the little bit I know, you're a singer-songwriter. Is that correct?
No, I started as a singer in India.
Okay.
And then when I came to England, I realized I wouldn't be able to cut it as a singer, because unfortunately they had groups like the Stones and the Beatles and Cliff Richard and all those kind of guys, and they were far better than me. So I decided I'd better take up writing and producing, and that's what I did.
And what have you written? What have you produced? Tell us a bit more.
Well, on the English side, I've done things like Kung Fu Fighting, I Love to Love by Tina Charles, Jimmy James, I'll Go Where the Music Takes Me. I did the Joan Collins films, both her films, The Stud and the Bitch. Am I allowed to say The Stud and the Bitch on TV?
You can. You said it twice. Twice, in fact.
I was worried. Am I allowed to say Joan Collins?
It's like you never know who you're sitting next to in Marbella. I mean, like, I'm always honoured to have guests on the programme, but particularly nice to know that, you know, that you would deign come to a local TV station and give us your time.
I had time. There was nothing else to do between lunch and tea.
Well, okay, I take it. I'll accept. So tell us a bit more.
Yeah, then
what's it like working with people like that?
It was nice working with Joan Collins.
Nonchalant.
Yeah. In fact, I think I played a big part in her comeback success, because before The Stud she wasn't happening, and then she did The Stud and The Bitch, and then she got Dynasty and the Dynasty, yeah.
Depends where you come from, yeah.
And then she went on to bigger and better things, yeah. And ironically or coincidentally, I've also done a few films in India, Bollywood films, and I had quite a few big hits in India with my songs, so that was good. So I've managed to bridge the two, even though I don't know
I can't
anything.
wait to hear them. I mean, I can't wait to...
You'll hear them on the night. This is another reason we wanted you to be an MC, is because then you can hear my music.
This is just such an exciting event, and it's funny how I can't think of any of the names right now. Everything's escaping. It's been a busy day. It was one of those days. But the whole Bollywood theme is joyous.
It is.
You know, because it is a Andalusian flamenco. It's very tragic. And yet when you see anything of the Bollywood, it always seems to be very uplifting.
Because it's more family oriented. That's why. So mum and dad and the kids can go and see it. So it's got to be fun. Because the other thing in India, they always believe that you've got to see a film 2 or 3 times. So they've got to make it a family entertainment kind of a thing. So it's good. It's, like you say, it's joyous, it's colorful, a lot of music.
Bollywood, as I understand it, is an enormous industry and very comparable to Hollywood, if not more so.
Well, in
must be difficult to get in. How did you, I mean, that's a big achievement as well, not only with your music.
Not really, because I was marginally talented, so I managed to get in.
So
So modest. That's my middle name. In fact, that's my first name. But actually, India produces a lot of films. But Bollywood, people don't realize, Bollywood doesn't produce the most amount of films in India. Most amount of films are produced in the South. They're different languages. Bollywood is in Hindi, which is the national language, and they do about 320 films. But there's another 350 films made by the other languages in India, because we have 19 main languages and about 117 dialects and about, so, and sadly I only speak about 109 of those.
You speak 109 different languages,
Of course,
dialects?
I'm lying to you, and you believe me, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say it to your face. I wasn't going to say it to your face. And you're amazing how many people can be very talented. So you're going to be emceeing at the event. Do you know what we're expected of us?
Lorraine Powell has roped us in, and yes, we're going to be the MCs. We're going to make the evening flow. There's going to be Bollywood dancers from Spain.
I would very much like to learn to do that. In the sense, similar, again making reference to flamenco dancing, but it must make you very fit with all the arm movements and everything. It must be a great way to get in shape.
You know, you did this, flamenco. It's very similar to Bollywood, what they call Bhangra dancing, which is like fixing a light bulb.
Like taking the apple from the tree in the flamenco.
And that's really it. It's a lot of hip movements. I don't do it myself, but yeah, it's very popular. Yeah.
So are you working on any projects at the moment?
No, when I'm in Marbella, I'm just on a holiday.
You know, there are a lot of movies being made here recently. It could be a great venue setting for you to make one of your Bollywood movies or something in the local community.
They probably have picked Spain already, maybe Almeria or somewhere else, Barcelona maybe, yeah.
No, I was talking specifically Marbella. Well, support the cause.
Yeah, but don't forget, you have a lot of places like Marbella in India. I mean, obviously not on this wonderful scale, but like a poor man's Marbella. Goa, the whole of Goa is like a poor man's Marbella, a very poor man's Marbella.
How do you feel about those differences? Do you feel there's something you can do anything about? Is it something you just accept, seeing that that's such a big difference in your country of the really, really poor? And
the dichotomy between the rich and the poor is tremendous, and it's got worse over the years. I think like in most countries, the rich have got richer, and the poor have got poorer too, except for China, where they managed to bring out 500 million people out of the poverty line. India's working on it. I don't know if our politicians are honest enough, because at the end of the day, the leaders have to be honest and work for the people. It's improving. Whether it'll improve in the next 10, 15 years, I don't know. But I know that doing this gala is helping India to a great degree, and really I want to be grateful and thankful to the Rotary Club and to Lorraine who've got this whole thing going. Yeah.
It's nice to see people coming together for the greater good.
Yeah, the greater good, and it's not just, the money's not just being spent in India, it's going to be spent here in Spain and amongst the young. Yeah.
You've been coming here for 45 years.
Yep.
That means, like me, you were here before Spain was part of the economic European community.
Correct, yeah.
When we had to have work permits and visas and all the rest of it. However, in my humble opinion, now that we're going back there, perhaps just because of the distaste that the Spanish have in their mouths from us daring to leave and then expect the same treatment, Do you feel that it's even more difficult now? How are you
it's
finding
very-
the change back?
It's very difficult. I think Brexit was a bad move, but that's my own personal opinion, because it's good to be, in this world, it's good to be part of a club, the European club. And Britain always punched way above its weight for a small country. At one time it ruled half the world, etc. But now it's singular, and we're kind of relying on America to a great deal. But America always thinks about itself first. So I don't think it's a great deal. And from a personal point, of course, every time we come, we've got to download this and print that off, and then we're allowed 90 days, and we have to leave for 90 days. So Brexit, from a personal point, ain't good, but I think from a global point, I think it's messy, and it's going to take Britain a long time to get out of the rut and stand on its own 2 feet again.
Yeah, it's hard because there's no one you can speak to, whether it's receiving a knitted woolly hat that costs you the duty and the import, or trying to get products through. It's very difficult right now.
It hasn't been helpful, let's put it this way. And I know people who've gone for Brexit say, oh, but we want sovereignty. But in this day and age, it's more important to be part of the global society, I think.
Yeah. Well, with the high tech that we're all involved with now, whether we want to be or not, it is such a global world. Everything is such close proximity in one way or another.
And also, we've got to be aware of China, which is manufacturing nearly 60% of the global manufacturing capabilities. So, we need to. There's a war going on. It's an economic war, and we've got to be careful. Yeah. But I don't want to get too heavy onto
let's
that.
not.
Yeah.
But it's nice to get other people's opinions, because we have such a diverse community. There's 147 nationalities registered on the Marbella town census, which is impressive.
Very
and then we have all our swallows, those who come and go,
Yeah.
and taking advantage of those 90 days here and there. But it's nice to get that feedback of how everybody sees it, particularly when you've had so many years of experience.
Yeah, I love it, because it's a very cosmopolitan town, I think. And I love the Spanish people. They're very friendly. They're full of beans. I've also lived in the south of France, which doesn't have that openness that the Spanish have. I like it.
Yeah, it's more sedate.
South of France is sedate.
Yes, it's more sedate. Here we've got, you've got the
like
alegría.
Flamenco,
Yeah, we've got the alegría. Alegría is what we want. And that's what you're going to have on the 4th of December. Mucha alegría. A lot of fun, Bollywood style. Tikitano restaurant. Get your tickets now. It's €100. It's all for a good cause. You to have a really good night and to raise funds for those who really need it. Coming up to Christmas, I think we have to be more aware of that than ever.
I agree.
Bidu is going to be doing the emceeing with moi.
Yes.
So I hope I don't get too shy and I can't.
Well, hey, I'll try and get a word in edgewise. Don't worry.
Different spaces, different venues, or different things. But it's going to be a lot of fun. If you would like to dress up in a sari and don't have one, I think that the girls organising the event are going to make that possible. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you have raffle prizes you would like to donate, I know that would also be very welcome. Always good to help raise funds.
Yeah.
I think I covered it, right, Bidu? Anything else?
You've done a great job on this, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you really
My
for taking
pleasure.
the time. So impressive. Now I've got my head where I've met you a bit. I'm going to have to find out a bit more and then bring you back when I can ask you really some good stuff about all the cool things you've done in your life.
No. I'm quite a private guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, as I said, I just need to know a bit more so I could just get a little bit more, but very interesting life. So
Thank you
you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Did I tell you I walked from India to the West? Through the Middle East? I walked the whole way.
How long did that take you?
Not
While
too
you were
long.
learning those 170 languages?
No. It took me about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? What?
We couldn't get out of India otherwise.
Oh,
It's another story. It's a long story, but...
now you've started, I'll let you finish. Just quickly give us a...
No, we finished.
No, quickly. So how did that come about?
Well, I used to be, to cut to the chase, I used to be a singer in India, and a guy came to one of my concerts backstage and said, I hear you want to go to the West, and I said, yeah. He said, I know how to get you a passport. India was a very poor country then, much poorer than it is now. We were kind of dancing with the Russians instead of waltzing with the Americans. And we didn't have passport, we didn't have anything. And for the few people who were allowed to leave the country, they were allowed £3. That was it. So this guy said, I'll get you a ticket, I'll get you your black money, right, to go and live abroad, and I'll get you a passport. And passport was a magic word because no one had passports. So I gave him everything I had, and I announced my farewell concerts. And I did my farewell concert, and I was staying in my hotel room, waiting for this guy to turn up, and he didn't. And my friend said, let's go and show a little muscle. They didn't use the word muscle, but, you know, just don't frighten him, you know. And so we went to his office, but the office was padlocked. And the next office, I said to the lady, where's the travel agent? She said, oh, he emigrated to Canada 2 weeks ago.
Using all the money he got from you?
Using all my money, yeah, plus my birth certificate and everything else, which is why I don't know how old I am. So don't ever ask me how old I am, right? So I had to do farewell concerts and more farewell concerts. In fact, I did more concerts than Frank Sinatra. Finally, I was doing another show, big show, and a guy came backstage and said, I'm a travel agent, but before you get angry, I know what happened to you, but I will get you a passport, I will get you a ticket, and I will get you your black money. So I gave him everything I had. They say once is a mistake, twice is a habit. So I gave him everything I had, and I sat in my hotel room. And a month later, this guy turned up with an Indian passport, which looked fabulous. Like, it was like a pot of gold. It was incredible when you've never seen something like that. And now it's an Indian passport, bah. But he gave me a passport, he gave me my £3, and he gave me a little docket. And I said, what is this? This is not an airline ticket. He said, no, you didn't give me enough money. This is to go on a pilgrimage boat to Mecca. I said, but I'm not Muslim. He said, who cares? No one knows. I mean, we're talking the 60s. He said, just get on this pilgrimage boat and you'll get to Basra, and from Basra you can walk. So that's what I did. I got on this pilgrimage boat with 1,000, maybe 500 Muslim pilgrims, all dressed in white shawls and prayer beads. And there I was in blue jeans, cowboy hat, boots, a guitar, and a little plastic bag with 2 underwear and 2 T-shirts. And they must have thought I was the devil. And we went to Basra, got off there. I didn't have a map or anything, and all I did was hitchhike. So I kept going around the Middle East in circles. And I visited every part of the Middle East because I didn't know where I was going. Wherever a truck or a van or someone was going, I just hitch a ride. And most people didn't speak English in those days. And eventually I got to Beirut. And Beirut, when I got there, I got off a bus, and walking down the street, I heard this song, Reach Out, I'll Be There by the Four Tops. And I thought, wow, that is fantastic. That's what I want to do when I go to England. And I walked a few more yards, and a guy said, hey, do you want to sing in my little restaurant? I said, yeah, because I just arrived. I had no money, nothing. And he said, if you sing, I'll let you sleep on the floor. I won't give you any money, but the people in the restaurant will give you tips. So that's what I did for a few more months. And I got enough money, and then I got to, from Beirut, I went to France, took the hovercraft. In those days, they had the hovercraft, got to England. Yeah.
That's a beautiful story. I mean, it's resilience, determination, dedication.
No, I was also stupid. I didn't have a map. I didn't have a map.
It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. You were young. Let yourself off the hook. Give yourself credit where credit is due. But you came a long way, in the sense, I mean, everybody that knows you from back then has to, at least, you have to admire.
6,000 miles, yeah, that's a long
by
way.
Foot.
Yeah, by foot, yeah. I mean, I cut to the chase, you know, like in Dubai. Dubai was sand, 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 and a few small buildings, that's it. And my feet was getting stuck in the sand, and these few 6 or 7 buildings were all owned by Indians. And one guy said, he said, look, I'm giving you these desert boots because your cowboy boot, you won't be able to walk. And, you know, so I got help along the way. Even in Baghdad, people, I would sleep on the square near the fountain, and people would come and give me food. You know, things like that. So it wasn't like it is today or in the last few years. You know, it was a much more friendly, relaxed kind of countries that I walked through. Yeah.
That's when I think everyone now is more desperate. It seems, whether taking politics aside, but people do seem to be more desperate. The segregation of have and have-nots is larger.
Oh, larger, yeah.
Which is why we have to do more to keep ourselves going and to help those that are less fortunate. Thoroughly enjoyed meeting you. You really, I know you've got so many more stories there. So if you would like to hear some of them, why don't you come along to Tikitano on the 4th of December for the Bollywood night? A man who's Bollywood movies, producer, writer. It's just like got it all going for
Husband.
him. Husband.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got lots of titles, lot of hats going on there. So we'll see you at the event. Bidu, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And
Thanks,
don't
Nicole.
go away because we will be back after the break.